So, we have another movie that people consider one of the greatest of all time, and I'm about to make a lot of people mad. Oh well, that's opinions for you. What's up? What time is going by? Welcome back to Animation was such a fan thing and everything animation. Welcome back to Legends of Literature. We are getting closer and closer to the end of our marathon because now we only have 3 reviews left. And for this one, I'm probably going to make a lot of people pretty mad, but it's my opinion. Welcome to my review of the 1939, right? 1939, yeah, 1939 movie, The Wizard of Oz, based on the books of the same name that I've never read. This is a movie I loved a lot as a kid, and I was really looking forward to seeing it again for this review because I have a lot of fond memories with it. It was one of my first ever films, so I do have some attachment to it. But unfortunately, watching it now, there's problems. Why? Let me explain in my written review, because there's not really any other way I can really thoroughly explain it. Another one that's really hard to review, but I'm sure as heck gonna try anyway. Yes, this movie is a revolution in filmmaking and has more than earned its classic status, with wonderful music, great set design, amazing costumes, memorable characters, especially the Cowardly Lion, he was always my favorite, and some amazing special effects for the time period. And considering this came out only 8 years after Dracula introduced sound to movies, it was impressive how much it pretty much created the concept of full-color motion picture in a new medium besides just animation. However, while I have a lot of respect for this film and everything it accomplished, it has a lot of cracks in its yellow brick road. The acting, while serviceable for the time, is nowadays just okay. Its many tone shifts cause a lot of confusion at times, like it goes from depressing and serious to cheerful and happy to serious and depressing again. Like, it keeps shifting wildly back and forth tones, and it can't pick one. Like, pick a lane if you're going to go with a certain tone. Where else? Its first 20 minutes drag and take forever to actually get the story going. The story itself is quite simple, even though it is still good. What else? Oh, Glinda is insufferable with how little she cares about Dorothy's safety. The few adult dark moments it tries to throw in feel very, very forced. The ending, while definitely unique, feels very anticlimactic. The runtime, despite being shorter than 2 hours, feels way too long. The humor is eye-rolling, the pacing is wildly inconsistent, and rewatchability is in the middle. Also, this isn't the film's fault directly, but I also gotta mention the abysmal Trash Fire that is its tie-in video game for the Super Nintendo, which is arguably one of the worst video games ever made. You want more about that? Go watch the Angry Nerds review about it. As well as its numerous failed attempts at a continuation or a remake of any kind whatsoever in the modern ages since this movie's original release. Legend of Oz: Dorothy's Return, freaking Oz the Great and Powerful, and don't even get me started on that beyond pointless Tom and Jerry crossover, and they all failed to recapture that same lightning on a bottle, which in turn actually hurts the original's legacy, because by remembering that the original exists, I also have to remember that those pieces of crap exist too. So, in a way, while I'm happy that this movie is so fondly remembered in such a pivotal piece of film history, at the same time, everything else that's come out since the movie's original release has been pretty much crap. Like, come on. Seriously, franchise-wise, this one's bad. Overall, while film history is definitely better with this movie existing, unfortunately I can't say it's nothing more than just decent nowadays. Yes, it's still a classic if you look past all of its faults, but to quote the Angry Video Game Nerd from his Metal Gear NES review, it may not look like shit, but it sure smells like it. Final verdict for The Wizard of Oz is going to be a low and very controversial 5.5 out of 10. A one-and-done film for film historians and children, but not really anything more than that for adults outside of nostalgia. If you're nostalgic for this movie, of course you're going to rewatch it over and over, but if you're not, and if you're one of the newer generations seeing this movie for the first time, it's not going to appeal to you. So, yeah, it's a delightful movie. It earned its status as a classic, but At the same time, it has way too many problems for me to call it anything more than decent. And yes, you could probably make that same argument for the Universal monster films I love so much, but at least with those, you can see the vision they were trying to go for. They had a consistent tone, they had a consistent pace. This movie is wildly inconsistent for most of its runtime. Sometimes it's depressing and scary, and other times it's happy and cheerful. And unlike another movie we're going to talk about to end off this marathon, it does not balance that very well. So there you go. It's a very controversial review, but in my opinion, this movie is decent, it is good enough, and it earned its classic status in terms of its filmmaking legacy. But at the same time, it is extremely overrated to an obnoxious degree, and the crappy sequels just make me dislike it even more, even though it's not the film's fault. So, yep, that's it. Sorry if I disappointed you guys in this review. I was hoping to really come out and praise this movie to high heaven like most people, but I just can't do it. I'm sorry. It's not aged well. I'm sorry. But let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Please be civil. I don't want to block anyone today. And if you are one of the people that holds this movie in high regard, continue to love it. This is nothing more than my personal opinion, and I understand it's a hot take. So, yep, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time for The Godfather.